Hi, this is Garry Ray. I've been asked to tell a little bit about how I got started in Amazon and about how Gay and I came to know each other. And actually, they kind of overlap each other. So there's no way to really separate the two. I'm 59 years old. I have 11 grandchildren, and my main career has been in the insurance business. I've owned a few other businesses that I sold and got out of. But the insurance business I've been in a little over 4 decades. My wife and I had no previous e-commerce experience at all, none whatsoever. And we were kind of empty nesters about 6.5 years ago. At the time of this recording, it's been 6.5 years ago. That would have been summer of 2015 is when that would have been, late spring, early summer. So my wife loves to shop. Now, it's not saying she loves to spend money. She just loves to shop. She's a real deal finder. And that's kind of like, she calls it retail therapy, and she enjoys that. And I've always liked the fact that she could do that. So I jokingly used to say to her all the time, if I could ever find a job where you could make money shopping, we'd be rich, because she loves to shop. So as fate would have it, one night I was on Facebook doing something, and this ad popped up about selling on Amazon. And so I went through the ad and I started watching all kind of different videos about it. So when she came in that night, I told her, I said, look at this. Here's this group, and they help people learn the basics of selling and so on and so forth. And because she didn't really know it would work. I'm very optimistic. I'm the kind of guy that look at Moby Dick out in the water and get in a rowboat and take the tartar sauce with me and go after him. I'm too optimistic on lots of things. It's served me well, but it's also caused me to have some failures in life too, because I am so optimistic. And conversely, my wife is kind of the opposite of that. So it kind of makes for a really good yin and yang, as they say. So I want to show you all something here real quick that'll help define a little bit deeper as to what I'm going to say here about my Amazon journey and about Gay's influence on that as well. Because like I said, they're both going to tie in together. There's a verse in the Bible that I think explains this perfectly. And it's Ecclesiastes. Now, they're not positive that Solomon wrote this, but they're believing that he did. So Solomon gets the credit for this, and it does sound like something he would write. He says, I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, neither yet bread to the wise, nor yet riches to the men of understanding, nor yet favor to men of skill. Listen to this. But time and chance happeneth to them all. When I was young, that was a verse my father used to quote to me a lot, that time and chance happeneth to them all. You can go look that up. It's Ecclesiastes 9:11. Read any version you want, and you'll still get the same meaning. And that is time and chance. You know, the middle two letters in the word life is if, L-I-F-E, if. So you could say 50% of life is chance. Now, a lot of times we think that that is negative when it can be very, very, very positive. How many of you met your love of your life by chance? Well, that's what the scripture is referencing here. Time and chance happeneth to them all. And it happens to all of us. Well, it happened to my wife and I on Amazon selling and on meeting Gay Lisby. So I get a hold of that group and I join the group and I pay the money. Wasn't in the group, but maybe a month or two, something like that, not long. And they kicked off this program where you could have this coaching. And I was like, oh man, I went in on that. So it was it's either $5,000 or $6,000. I forget. It could be $6,000, one or the other, and then $500 a month to join this group for so many months. And in that, you got one coaching session per month that you got in that. Well, Gay Lisby was my first coach and my best coach. Now, for years and years, I've always said she was my first coach. And as a few years went by, it finally dawned on me, she was actually the best coach. Of all the coaches I had in that group, she was the best coach. And I never will forget the day that I told her that she was my best coach. That just made her day. And so I should have been saying best coach from the beginning, but it took me a while in my mind to go through all the coaches, but she was the best coach. And there was one particular thing she shared that day. There was two things she shared that day, and I can tell you both of them, but I won't because I paid a lot of money for them. But the one thing she told me that I said, I'll do it before the sun goes down. And I did. So I like to think and encourage myself to be a good student. So when I started being a pupil under Gay's tutelage, I really wanted to be a good, I'm talking pen in hand, paper, jotting down everything that was said, and to get this down. So I want to show you all something here. This is, again, I'm going to do a screen share here real quick. I think you all really like this. This is an award that was given to Gay at the first annual Platinum Mastermind Group. This was showing that the program ran through October through February of that year. And that's the time frame that was in there. We had been selling maybe 3 months or 4 months or something like that, when I think about 4 months when this started. We sold 117,000 our first 100 days, and we had never sold anything, like I said. So my wife and I were real greenhorns at this. But this was given to Gay, and this was given to her at a summit that we had in Memphis, Tennessee, March 17, 2016. So we're just, at the time of this recording, we're just a few months away from this being 6 years ago when she got that awarded to her. Much deserved, by the way. She made a lot of impact on a lot of people. Now, watch this. So we're in Memphis, Tennessee, and Gay and her sister Colleen are there, and my wife are there, and a bunch of other people. And we kind of wanted to escape from the group. So the four of us get in the vehicle, we drive out of town, a little piece out to a nice place out there, and we sit down, the four of us have dinner that night, have some very personal conversations about something in my life that I was dealing with, and Gay was giving me advice on some stuff. And Gay and I are just 1 year apart in age. So instantly it became like brother, sister kind of thing. I didn't have an older sister growing up. And apparently she didn't have any good brothers. I'm kidding. She had some real good brothers, but we just hit it off like brother and sister. We had no idea then that someday in the future, we would be running a group together. And that really later on became a treat. So one day I'm driving out, I'm working, and I get this phone call from Gay, and she says, "Hey, listen, you told me one time that if I ever got in on any deals and they were too big for me, meaning cash flow, money to pay, give you a holler." Well, I'm in on one. I'm buying out a shoe store in Branson, Missouri. And I'm like, buying out a shoe store? She said, yeah, they're going out of business. And I'm in here and I'm negotiated with them. And it's obviously going to be more than I want to buy. Or do you want in on it? And I said, yeah, I do. I said, how much do you think it'll be? And she gave me a range of numbers there. And she said, so how much do you think it'll be? I said, just buy all, anything you don't buy everything, and I'll buy it. And she said, okay. And because she gave me that range, so I knew I was safe in that range. So she called me back in a couple of hours, and she told me how much that she'd bought, and it was a gob of stuff. And she had to get people to help her load it and haul it to their garage. So I got in a vehicle. It's an 8-hour drive. So I get in a vehicle and I'm already on the road, and I'm telling my wife, wire her money. I'm on the road. So I go to their house, and her and Colleen are there, and I'm loading up all of these shoes, Red Wings, and was it Ufu, if I'm saying that correctly, and just all kinds of shoes. We're loading all this stuff up. So this is amazing. So drive back home, start listing this stuff. So there's like this first step of this was the coaching. The second step of this was a Memphis meetup that we had. And then the third step that happened was we did this deal together. Relationships are key to business, but relationships can be hard. They can be a real challenge. But if you put forth good effort and you treat each other good, you can build great relationships. So you fast forward a few years, I get a phone call one day, and Gay's talking about Amazon Seller Tribe and about the group that she's working in and so on and so forth. And she's asking about if she should do this or do this. She's just wanting my input, and I'm giving her my input, and she's flushing what she doesn't agree with, and she's taking what she does agree with. Well, that day after that phone call, I told my wife that day, I said, I just have a feeling that Gay at some point is going to reach out to me and ask me to help her in the group. But I wasn't ever going to say a word, wasn't going to approach her. I was going to exercise restraint and just wait and just see if it's something that God impressed upon her. And sure enough, as time went by and it got stronger and stronger, one particular morning, I told my wife as I was leaving home, I said, I really strongly believe Gay's going to be calling me. I just got that feeling. And she called that day. We had the conversation that day, and that started no contract, strictly a handshake on what we would do together. And that started what has turned out to be a beautiful journey. Millions of dollars of sales later from my wife and I on Amazon. At the time we're doing this recording, we're doing about $2.5 million a year in our arbitrage account. We have a separate, smaller a private label account. We coach in a group. We run and work with a group of other coaches in the tribe coaching program, and that just does fabulous. We're serving the Amazon community in a beautiful way. Recently, we had an event in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and it was amazing. The stage couldn't hardly hold how many people had sold over $1 million in the last 12 months. And that's the goal that we have in the group that Gay laid out as a benchmark. And that was to create the most $1 million sellers in the industry. So how I got started in this goes back to that verse in Ecclesiastes: time and chance happeneth to everyone. How I met Gay was time and chance. Had I not spent the money to join that coaching program, then go to Memphis and meet her and her sister and my wife and I, all get to know each other. Time and chance. If that shoe store in Branson, Missouri hadn't been going out of business and she called me, time and chance. Me driving over there, meeting them at their house, loading it, time and chance happeneth to every man. And it really, really does. So in your life, as you're sitting here now watching this, and as you work forward and start building your Amazon career, start watching and remembering that the race is not always to the swift. Victory is not always to the smartest person, because life happens to all of us. And many times what happens to us in life is absolutely wonderful. Take care, everybody. Bye.